and also protecting the family. So next, I would like to introduce to you an attorney, Neil Anderson. He's gonna share with you about estate planning, and this is a topic that our community don't really think about, or some people don't really care about, right? So soon you're gonna hear from him why estate planning is so important. So please, Neil, come up and
Thank
share
you.
what you have with us.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm going to put this down. I'm not going to loud voice. Probably don't even need a microphone. However, first off, I've heard good morning so many times. I don't know about you guys. I am a little bit afraid of the party that's coming up if it's still the morning time. My name's Neil Anderson, and I'd like to thank the Lowell Financial Center. I guess you guys like me because this is my 4th time visiting in the last month.
We like your dog. We like cinnamon.
I'm thrilled to be here. Just to introduce myself, I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm also a very proud dad. I think I said the first time I was here when I usually introduce myself, or if you ask me on the side what I do, I'm going to tell you I'm a full-time karate dad, part-time attorney. And love being a dad and a husband, and that's first and foremost in my life. I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about estate planning. I had some slides, but I think I'm going to. Oh, do we have them here?
Yes. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Do we have the? Now, Stu had mentioned he likes talking. I like talking too, but I've been asked to be brief, so I'm going to be brief. You're not going to be getting an education on estate planning today. That is going to be coming later in January, but what I am going to do is talk to you a little bit about the needs and what makes up a good estate plan. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to ask some questions. You can answer those to yourself, but at some point, I want to ask for everybody to either stand up, get enthusiastic, tell me if you answered yes to any one of these questions, okay? And let's see if I get this. All right. All right, got this working. All right. Before I ask my first question, I'm gonna tell you a story. 2 days ago, I was driving home, and I ran a red light. I did. I'm usually a pretty good driver, but I ran a red light. I did, and I almost had a head-on collision.
No.
I call that a near miss. So my first question to everybody in this room have any of you ever had a near miss?
Yes, like always.
Has any of you or someone you love ever been sick, hospitalized, or diagnosed with a serious disease or illness?
Yes. It's right here.
Have any of you ever been in an accident, or someone you love been in an accident? This is a car accident. I mean any kind of an accident.
Yes.
This is great. You guys are participatory. I love it. All right. Now, bearing in mind all of those questions, has it caused you or loved ones stress, anxiety, a change in your lifestyle? Been a source of family conflict? Physical or emotional pain? Or caused you to lose any income? My next question, I know I have a lot of parents, and I think I have some parents to be, but do you know what would happen to your children if you pass away unexpectedly, or if you become incapacitated? Now, because I don't think sitting is the greatest thing to do. If you answered yes to one single question I just asked, stand up for me. All right? Stand up for me.
Come on.
Side level.
Get a good stretch.
That's a fat flowing.
Okay? As you guys will soon see, everybody who is standing and stretching right now, you need an estate plan. Okay? You need an estate plan. Now, I'm gonna get into a little bit about what an estate plan is not, and then what it is. Okay, you guys can sit. Thank you so much. All right. All right, who can give you a little drum roll or a little roll there? All right, an estate plan is not a will. It is not a last will and testament. These are, I'm only giving you 4 is not, but there's a lot of common misconceptions. And the first one I hear, oh, I have an estate plan, I've done a will. You don't have an estate plan. You have a piece of an estate plan. And it's a good start. So it's not a bad thing, but it's only a piece. I don't need an estate plan because I am not filthy rich. An estate plan is for the rich. These are things that I hear again and again and again. Okay? An estate plan is not for the rich. An estate plan is for everybody. Or, common misconception, estate plan is just for property owners. I don't really have any assets, so why do I need an estate plan? Because I'll tell you right now, it's not just about your assets. And probably the biggest misconception, and unfortunately, the demographic that most of my colleagues try to attract and market to is senior citizens, because end of life is a very real conversation at that point. But an estate plan is not just for the elderly or for a senior citizen. Is it important for them? Absolutely. Is it just for them? Definitely not. What is an estate plan? I'm going to give you guys the most basic definition. If you look it up online right now, this is not the definition you're going to get. Okay, but I'm going to make it really, really simple. It's a set of instructions. No kidding. That's what an estate plan is. It is literally, it's a set of instructions, but those instructions have legal power. Okay? It's much more. So at its fundamental level, and how most people know an estate plan, which is why you have some of the misconceptions, it's about your estate distribution and where your assets go. That is very, very true. But it's more than that. All right, your decisions matter. It's about who gets to be on your team and make decisions for you when you need those decisions to be made, whether that is in life or in death. Okay? In life, if you become incapacitated, do you want a judge determining who makes decisions for you? Do you want a random person determining who gets to make decisions for you? You don't. You want somebody that you love, and more importantly, somebody that you trust to be in the position to make your healthcare decisions, your financial decisions, to make sure there's no gaps. Because if you don't have the power of attorney at that time, guess what? You got to wait for the court to assign a power of attorney, and in the meantime, you've got a mortgage to pay, right? You've got bills to pay, and there might be a gap in that, and the loss of earnings, loss of house. There's a million things that can happen. So an estate plan allows you to put into place your own team to make those decisions in life, and then after life, you get to determine who a guardian, long-term guardian for your children would be. And I don't know about you as a parent, that's the one thing I don't ever want to take a chance with, who gets to raise my son. If anything happens to my wife and I want to be in control of that. So who gets to make decisions? Who will take care of my children? Okay? Here's the reality, folks. Without an estate plan, if you're a parent of a minor children, or if you have a dependent adult child, and you haven't named somebody to take care of your children, the state will name somebody for you. And they do. I'm not trying to put down what probate court does. They do a fantastic job, and they're going to try to get it right. But they don't always get it right. They don't know, they look at the total picture, who might have a stable house to raise your children, but they don't know you, your values, what's important to you, and who that best person is. Only you know that. So, who needs an estate plan? we've talked about this, but see all these people over here? These very beautiful people, they all need an estate plan. But guess what? I want to hear you say, I do. Come on. I do. Let's be participant. I do. Look around to somebody else, say, you do. And now, we all do. We all need an estate plan. Beginning at age 18. A good estate plan. What is a good estate plan? All right, because estate plans come in many flavors, like anything else in life. I can go to McDonald's and get a burger patty, right? Or I can go to Ruth Chris's and get a $100 hamburger, right? There's all kinds of variety. But a good estate plan is typically it's going to be written by an attorney. But more importantly, a lot of attorneys, I'm not trying to put my colleagues down. It's just been a long-term practice. They're in the practice of producing documents, not relationships. Okay, it's not just about the documents. It involves a relationship. A good estate plan involves communication with your team. So when my wife and I did our estate plan, which I've now updated since becoming an attorney, but it was before I was an attorney and before I was in law school. Our attorney, we sat down with them, we did our documents. We felt good. And then we left our trust unfunded. There were no instructions on how to fund our trust. We never updated it again. We never looked at it again. And 10 years later, it wasn't until I started doing estate planning that I looked at our estate plan and realized that there are gaps. There was no further communication after we signed those documents with our attorney. Not one single follow-up call. So a good plan involves a relationship and an attorney that's going to have a relationship with you. It includes an emergency care plan. What do I mean by that? I do something called the Kids Protection Plan. And it lists out an emergency plan that you give to the people who are caring for your children, babysitters, caregivers, what your instructions are and where to find out those instructions if they need to. Even includes a wallet ID. So if you ever have a car accident, they know that not to call the Department of Children to place your children somewhere, but that you have a short-term caretaker name. So it has emergency instructions. It considers your values and your priorities and is designed to keep your family out of court and out of conflict in the end. And lastly, I am going to put some people on the spot. Can somebody here raise your hand if you actually have done an estate plan? You sat down with an attorney, and please do volunteer that information for me. I have at least one. Two, can I put you on the spot?
All the time.
How often have you ever had a follow-up from your attorney since you signed those documents? Not once?
Only if I reach out.
Only if you reach out, okay. How many years ago did you do that? Recently. Last year, okay. So you're probably you're likely in really good shape. But a lot of people will do what my wife and I did, which is they'll do their estate plan and they feel good about it. And it is a good thing to feel good about, right? And then they put it up on a bookshelf somewhere. It's in a nice fancy binder, and it collects dust. Well, guess what? My estate plan of 10 years ago is not the same one I have today. Why? When my son was a baby, I wanted a certain person to be his guardian and to watch him. That was my mom. My mom is now 10 years older. She's approaching 80. She can't keep up with a 9-year-old boy. My choice now is my brother. So life changes, and as life changes, your estate plan should change too. So again, that kind of goes back to you wanting to have a relationship with an attorney. Thank you. Now, what I'm always asked, I am always asked this question, and before I answer this question, I just want to let you know, everyone who sat down, you have a form to fill out. If I'm going to come back and do a full presentation, tell you a lot more detail about estate plan and elements and what it includes. However, if you want to have a 15-minute exploratory call with me at any point early in the new year, there is a paper. Just give me some basic information. We'll set up a 15-minute call. But I'm going to tell you about what an estate plan costs. I need a drum roll again or a foot roll. Something. All right. $0. That's the estate plan that I want, right? Who would like an estate plan for $0? Yeah, Cinnamon, you would, wouldn't you? Yes. I am not kidding. There are $0 estate plans first off, the most important $0 estate plan is the one that the state has for you. It's called probate court. Okay? Which will end up costing you more than the high end of the plan at the end, right? So you've got zero, or you've got something called freewill.com, or you've got online sites, and you can get a trust, a will, some of your basic estate planning documents done for, a few $100s up to $1,000 with some of these online sites. Is it better than nothing? I'm not gonna lie to you. If you ask me, if you said, that's all I can do it. Have something. Something is always better than nothing. But I would caution anyone who's wanting to take that step and say that it may not work for you the way you want it to in the end. Because estate planning is not one size fits all. $10,000 plan. By the way, that's not the ceiling, they go higher, but a $10,000 plan is for, it's advanced estate planning for somebody who has a huge estate, a lot of assets, a lot of things to protect, and might be looking at multiple trusts and multiple estate vehicles to, mediums to protect their assets and distribute their assets. So there is a absolute wide range for cost, but in the end, it is an investment, because when you pass on without an estate plan, that $0 plan called probate, guess what? The average probate costs 5% of the total value of your estate. Because you're gonna have court fees, your family is, you're gone, court fees, legal fees, etc. And by the time it's all said and done, you're paying a pretty good percentage just on that. And you also may not be receiving valuable tax savings that you could do if you do a good plan with an estate plan. So, I actually look at it as not a cost, but an investment. I hope you guys will come and join us on January 28th. I don't have details on that yet, but I know I'm coming back on the 28th, and we'll have a little bit more time to go more in depth. In the meantime, if you guys want to, again, just have a brief exploratory call to see if the estate plan is right for you, or it's the right time, or if you have some questions, please fill out that form for me, hand it to me, and I'm here for quite a while today, so you can feel free to grab me on the side too.